And then tuck your chin to the chest, lift your upper spine off, and then rock and roll front to back and come all the way up to a sit. And next we're gonna sit right on top of that roller. So if you're just kind of joining in here, we are doing yoga stretch today using a foam roller. We just did our core exercise since we are in this core abdominal strength focus for the month of October. So I used the foam roller to do a little abdominal strengthening using those isometric exercises, which sometimes aren't so fun because you're not moving, it's just steady and it's still and it's static tension in the muscles, but it's effective. All right, so let's just roll across those gluteal muscles here. So we're going back and forth, maybe about 10 passes. That's kind of a good general rule of thumb. 10 passes back and forth across each muscle group that you're trying to address. And if you feel a knot or a bump or a tight spot or a scar, just kind of like, hang out on that spot and maybe kind of just roll it a little bit more gently right there. And then you can even do a little swinging of the knees from left to right. That should feel really good. You know, when you go to a massage therapist, it's not like you really want to say, hey, can you like really dig into my glutes? I mean, I don't know. It's just something, I think they tend to kind of steer away from that unless they, you know, drape you and then maybe just dig elbows in. But here you can just massage exactly where you're feeling tight in those glute muscles. All right, so I'm going to show you how to really get into that piriformis. So I'm going to scoot a little bit to the right. Left ankle crosses over the right thigh. Now my right hand is going to reach over and grab a hold of my shin. Left hand holding me up here. And I'm just rolling back and forth. Very small amount of space there that I'm covering. But trying to get that piriformis muscle stretched and exposed. So when I roll across it, it even maximizes that lengthening effect. Lengthening from the stretching, lengthening from the foam rolling. And that's exactly what this foam roller does, is it's stretching out and lengthening those muscle fibers. They tend to get kind of stuck in a semi-contracted state, meaning they're tight, and we want to just stretch it all out. That's what we're doing here on Thursdays. All about stretching out those muscles. And just make sure you're breathing. Sometimes when there's a little bit of pain, a little bit of tenderness, we tend to hold our breath. So let's flip to the other side. So kind of scooch your glutes over to the left if you're on a short one. Pick up that right ankle, cross it over, left hand here, and then we just go back and forth here across the glute medius muscles. And you kind of, you know, you move around. So it's not like there's an absolute right or wrong way or place to do it. It's about listening to your body and tuning in, finding out where you're feeling that area that needs it the most. Your body will tell you. Your body knows. Alrighty, and then just sit down in front of the roller. You're going to bring the roller not all the way up to the lumbar spine there, but just push it away a little bit. And when you come back down on it, it should be a little bit above where your waistband would be. We don't want to be right on that lower back. I'm going to show you at the end how you can use the wall to address the lower back, but it'll be not nearly as much pressure as if you were here on your back, you know, all your body weight. So starting from just a little bit above that point, go ahead and lift the hips up. Now you can grab underneath your thighs here, or you can go hands there. Whatever's comfortable for you, but you're going to have to use your abdominals a little bit, obviously, to hold your upper spine slightly curved like this. And we just go back and forth from that point, that start point, up towards the shoulder blades and then back. So you're just kind of pushing and pulling with your feet, with your legs. When you find that spot, you could even set the hips down and then just maybe kind of hang out there. Maybe do a little side to side, similar to what we did when we were sitting on it with the glutes. Okay, and then we can continue by lifting those hips up and coming more towards the upper spine, so right across those traps and rhomboids here. Now don't go right onto the neck for obvious reasons, but you get pretty close right there. Let your elbows flare out and then just kind of push and pull, going right across those upper back muscles. And for some reason, I could not figure out why I was so sore. Still am a little bit sore in my upper back. I mean, just kind of one of those sorenesses, like, I don't know, I haven't had soreness like that in forever. And I was trying to review in my mind, what did we do Monday? What did we do Tuesday? I mean, nothing was coming to me. And then it finally hit me. And I think I did this Sunday night. Yeah, I have a huge brand new dresser that somebody gave me. Well, brand new to me. It was old to them. And I don't know. I bet that thing weighs 500 pounds. And it was like 3 inches too close to one wall. And so I needed to move it. But of course, I don't have anybody to help me move it. So I sat down and grabbed underneath and just pulled with my back against the other wall. Believe it or not, I got that thing to move. But it took every ounce of strength in my body. But I didn't think about it at the time. And then, all of a sudden I'm like sore, like, don't touch me here. I mean, it's that kind of sore, like deep, which kind of feels good, but it just was bugging me. I couldn't figure out why I was so sore. So if anybody needs heavy furniture moved, I'm your girl. I mean, it's amazing what we can do when we really, want it or need it, and you don't have any other options. You just, you dig down deep and find the strength and just do it. All that also just to say that not like how strong I am, but just the benefit of us working out. It isn't about just like looking good and, all that. It's about functionality and just being able to do the tasks of daily life. They call it ADL, activities of daily living. But just being able to do that, I mean, I'm thankful, otherwise that dresser would be in the wrong place still. Okay, let's do hamstrings. So under the knees, you can do flat hands, or I like to make a fist to just sort of minimize the stress on the hands and wrists. So we're just going to go back and forth across the hamstring muscles. So just to the backs of the knees and then all the way up and across to the tops of the hamstrings where they attach into your glutes right there. Back and forth, and make sure you're breathing. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And you can kind of roll the legs out like that. So I call this first position with your feet. So you're getting a little bit more of the outer portion of the hamstrings. Okay. And then you can kind of walk the legs out and then rotate in, call that pigeon-toed. So we're kind of getting more the inner portion of those hamstrings. And that feels good. And then you can just sort of swing and shimmy as you're going across. And so that's kind of moving those muscle fibers laterally. They run longitudinally, but going back and forth like this, we call it cross friction, cross fiber muscle friction. Oh yeah. Okay, and then let's do the calves. You can do one at a time, or you can do both. Now for me, just because my calves are so tight, I am going to use the rumble roller because I need a little bit more attention there. I need more pressure. I've got more stuff to kind of break up, and my calves can take it. I mean, it's somewhat painful, but they can take it. So this rumble roller, you wouldn't really want to use it for every muscle group, but some muscle groups, the more you do your foam rolling, the better your tissue quality is. It improves so that you are able to go with a little bit harder, denser foam roller, or perhaps one of these that has more of the texture on there. And there's just a plethora of foam rollers out there that have these different shapes and such on the outer portion of it. I mean, that kind of hurts, but it's feeling good, like it's releasing and breaking up stuff. And again, you can kind of rotate those legs internally there to hit the inner portion of your calves. And then you can rotate out, little first position, and get the outer portion of your calves. Yeah. Okay, and then let's get the front side, all right? So I'm going to go back to the smooth for the anterior tibialis muscles. It seems like every time I do that, I get little bruises. It's just too much. It's too intense, not necessary. So let's go back and forth from the ankles, just below the knees, back and forth here. So notice I'm sitting all the way down on my heels, which means there's going to be a lot more pressure on the muscles as I foam roll. If it's too much for you, an option would be to do more of kind of like an abdominal jackknife exercise where you're up here and you just bring those knees under and back. You know what I'm talking about, where we do either on the ball or on the gliders, we draw those knees under and you're focusing on abdominals squeezing tight here. So inhale back, exhale under, inhale, exhale under, and then sitting back down for more pressure if you like that better. And then a little kind of shimmy, go across. Okay, just sort of wiggling, shifting side to side. It's called pin and spin, so you're kind of pinning the muscle down, and then as you rotate in a circular pattern, it's like stretching those muscle fibers in a circular pattern, and it should feel really good. At least it does to me. You can sort of visualize what's going on underneath the skin. That's why I keep posting these videos of, just ways to visualize what's happening underneath the skin with the fascia, with the muscle, and when you're tight and when you break it up. I think it's so much more helpful when you have that kind of visual understanding of what you're doing to your body. Okay, let's go to the quadriceps. And as always, my mat is like scooching all over the place. So I'm going to park that foam roller right in the middle of my quads, coming into elbow plank, and then pulling my abs up. You don't want to just be totally relaxed there and hurt your back, so pull your abs in, and then pull elbows to come just above the kneecaps, and then push with those forearms to come right up to the top of your thighs. So again, we just kind of come forwards, and then push to the back, and then come forwards, and then push to the back. Now if you want it to be more intense, bend the knees so you flex the feet and pull those heels towards the buttocks. So with that, you're stretching the quads already, and then you're doing foam rolling on top of that. It is just maximizing your efforts here at lengthening and stretching out the quads. Let's do 2 more. Inhale front, and then exhale, push to the back. 1 more time. Inhale, pull forwards. And then exhale, push back. How about a little windshield wiper action as you're going super slow forwards. So you're kind of rolling the outer edges of those quads. Good, and then go back. Got your vastus lateralis on the outsides. You got the vastus medialis insides. Alrighty. Okay, let's do inner thigh. Haven't done this in a while, so scoot that rumble roller away. You want to get into elbow plank, right? And then it's going to be like army crawl. So the knee goes there, the foot goes there. Go ahead and just drop your hip down. And so as you roll out away from the mat, you bring that roller right up to the top of the inner thigh, and then you're going to roll back all the way down to the inside of the knee. So again, pushing out to the side and then pulling it back in. Out to the side and then back in. And then out to the side. Good. And then back in. And then come right to the middle here and just kind of rest that inner thigh directly on that roller. See if you can lift your foot up like that and then lower it down. So you're internally rotating the thigh. So as you do that, you're allowing the roller to hit more towards the front of your thigh and then back to the inner thigh. Do it 1 more time. Good. All right, and then we're just going to switch. Okay, so I'm just going to flip around this way because I don't want to run into my wall. How y'all doing? Are you there? Say hello. Hope you can hear me. All that good stuff. Okay, so you're in plank here. And then you bring your knee there, foot goes there, drop the hips, and then roll out away from the mat, bringing it all the way up to the inner thigh, and then slowly pull yourself back in towards the mat, bringing it right to the inside of your knee. So the trick is to relax, because anytime there's a little bit of tenderness and pressure, our automatic action is kind of tense up against it, and also to hold your breath. So don't do that. Don't do that. Breathe and try to relax the muscles. Just visualize those muscles kind of melting over the roller. Just let it smush up in there. Should feel really good. We are breaking scar tissue. We are breaking up adhesions that develop in the musculature from just either tight muscles from being tense, from working out and then not stretching out. Maybe you fell, stumbled in a weird way. Maybe you sat too long and just didn't move enough, and then it kind of went into this little semi-lockdown mode. That's what the muscles do when you don't move and stretch. And we don't want that. Oh, yeah. Okay, then just roll it out to where the roller is directly in the middle of the inner thigh, and then see your foot up like that, and then lower it down. So you're just internally rotating your right thigh, and as you do that, you're sort of rolling that muscle right over onto the front, more on the front portion of your thigh. Hi-yi-yi. Hoo-wee. Very good. All right, so then just come on up, and then just push your hips all the way back, coming into a nice extended child's pose stretch. Breathe. Alrighty, and then come back up into tabletop position. I'm just going to spin around here a little bit. Okay, and we're going to do forearms, and we'll be done with the foam roller, at least for right now. I am going to do that last piece with the foam roller across your lower back, standing up against the wall. But for right now, let's just do your forearms. So flip your palms up, bring your hands together, park your wrists right there, and then just roll to the elbows and then roll back. So with me sitting here just like this, it's not like a whole lot of pressure. Okay, but if I wanted more pressure, I would just come out, so more of my body weight is kind of pushing onto that roller. It should feel really good. Sometimes we neglect these body parts that seemingly don't matter, but every body part matters, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. Your forearms do a lot of work if you're doing anything with your hands. Okay, so then to get the insides, you're going to have to flip over. Now the elbows are going to flare out some. So if you've got a short roller, it might be challenging. If you've got a long one, no big deal. There's going to be plenty of room for your elbows to go out. But I'm just going to roll back and forth across the forearm muscles here. So again, I'm sitting back on my heels, so therefore less pressure. If I were to come up here, more kind of like in a tabletop position, and then roll it out, oh yeah, a lot more pressure on those forearms. Good job. All righty, so set that aside, and let's just go right away into tabletop position. We'll go back. All right, inhale breath. Your belly drop, head up. And then exhale breath, tuck your toes under and back, rounding your spine, chin to the chest, tailbone pointing straight down. Uncurl the toes, inhale breath, head up. And then exhale, toes curl under, and then round your back. One more time. Uncurl the toes, drop the belly, head up. And then exhale breath, tuck your toes under, and then rounding your spine up, super straight, strong arms, spread the fingers wide apart, lift your knees up about 1 foot, inhale breath here. On the exhale breath, push your sit bones back, feel your belly pressing right on top of your thighs, maybe kind of shimmy your toes a little bit farther back, get your head right in between the arms, feel that wonderful Achilles tendon stretch here, big inhale breath. And then exhale breath, you're going to straighten your legs all the way out, send the sit bones up, and then melt your heels to the very back of the mat for downward facing dog. So don't worry about it if your heels don't touch. You're just trying to get closer to that point. So in the stretch, pull the kneecaps up. So contract your quadriceps. Big inhale breath. Exhale breath out. Good. Now inhale breath, shifting into plank, top of a push-up. Exhale breath, lower the knees down, lower your chest down about midway. And then from there, let the hips go down, chest up, inhale, up dog. Exhale breath, push back into downward facing dog. One breath here, inhale. Exhale breath, lengthening that spine up. Inhale breath, shift it to plank again, top of a push-up. Exhale breath, push forwards, lower the knees, or keep your legs straight if you want. And you're coming halfway down and you're gonna hover there. And then the hips go down, the chest comes up, look up, inhale. Exhale breath, push up and back, downward facing dog. One more time, inhale plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale breath, downward facing dog. Stay here for one nice long breath, inhale. And then exhale it out. Good, now lift your head up, gaze to the very top of the mat. You're gonna bend the knees, kind of spring load it, and then walk or jump to the very top of the mat. Bring your feet out to the very outer edges of your mat. You can soften the knees if you need to, or keep the legs straight. Grab the elbows, hang upside down, and just breathe as you swing and sway from left to right. So just be careful you don't get too carried away. You can lose your balance pretty easy here upside down. So you're just kind of drifting the torso from left to right, and you're doing a little bit of a rotation, sort of twisting as you get to one side. Take a peek under that arm, and then go the other way. Good, settle in the middle. Release your hands down to the mat, and then you're going to lift up halfway. So super strong, straight legs. Slide your hands up the shin bones. Look forward, so lengthen the spine out that way. And then exhale, forward fold. One more time, inhale, half lift. And then exhale, breath, forward fold. Good, now bend your knees a lot. And as you do it, lift your head and chest up. And then inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up to the top we go. Exhale, hands come through to heart center. Relax the shoulders down. And again, every time you do this, pull that chin back a little bit. So that's sort of a posture reminder, a little posture check. And every time the hands come here, it's like, oh yeah, come back. Again, inhale, breath up to the top. Exhale, breath. Draw the hands to heart center. Pull that chin back. Inhale, breath up. Exhale, chest expansion. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Chest out, chin up, inhale. Exhale, breath. You can keep your legs straight or bend them, however you want to do. We're coming over into a forward fold, and you're letting those arms fall over in front. Now stay here and just very gently turn your head from left to right. Wonderful stretch here for your neck. Good, and then release your hands down to the mat. Inhale, breath, half lift, gaze forwards. Exhale, breath, fold. Bend the knees a lot, and as you bend the knees, you're dropping the hips, the head comes up to look forwards, and then it's a slow reverse swan dive up, inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, breath up. Exhale, chest expansion. Interlace the other way with your fingers there, and then chest out, chin up, look up, inhale. Exhale, push the hips back, flat back, forward fold. Come all the way down and let your arms fall over in front. Breathe. Good, release your hands down to the mat. Inhale, breath, half lift. And then exhale, fold. Keeping your legs straight this time, let's reverse swan dive it. All the way up we go, inhaling. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, breath up. Exhale, forward fold. So hips push back. It's a nice flat back. Arms open out, and you come all the way down to the mat. Inhale, breath, half lift. Exhale, breath, fold. Now place your hands right in between your feet so your feet are still kind of in that wide stance. Now bend the knees just a little bit, so drop the hips and lift the head up. Step your right foot way, way back to the back of the mat. Now you're just going to kind of push forwards and back a little bit here, kind of rocking into that lunge pose. Good. Now rock forwards and then drop the back knee down. Uncurl your toes. Reach this left arm out and then come all the way up to the ceiling. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, lower that hand down to the mat. Pick up your back foot and swing your foot over there to the outer edge of that mat. And then stretch your right arm out to the front and then look up. Inhale. And then exhale, reach back over to the front, hand down, pick your foot up, and then one more time this way. So reach that left arm out and up, inhale, look. And then exhale, breath, lower your hand down, pick that foot up and switch it over there. Stretch that right arm out in front, inhale, look up. And then exhale, breath, lower that arm down, tuck your toes under and back, straight leg, inhale. Exhale, push back into downward facing dog. One long breath here, inhale. Exhale it out. Good, now take your right leg up, inhale, breath, three-leg dog. Exhale, plank, forehead to knee. Inhale, breath, three-leg dog up. Exhale, breath, plank, forehead to knee. And then inhale, breath, straight leg up. Exhale, swing your foot through, but step to the outside of the mat right here. So now you're in a lunge on the other side. So a little rocking motion, again, from front to back, from front to back. Just kind of easing into that wonderful stretch, especially here for hip flexors and quads. And then back, front, and back. All right, come forwards. Drop your knee down, uncurl your toes. Reach this right arm out and then inhale, look up at your hand. Exhale, swing it back around to the front. Place your hand down, pick your foot up and back, and then just flip it over there. And then stretch this left arm out in front, inhale, and then look up at your hand. So want you, when you are in this position, I know you can't really see it, but my tricep is pushing against my right inner thigh to keep it from folding in. And it feels good. It increases that inner thigh stretch there. So look up, inhale. And then exhale, swing that arm back around, pick your foot up. And one more time, right arm reaching out, stretch it up, inhale. Exhale, breath, reaching forwards, and then place that hand down. Pick up your foot, flip it over, reach this left arm out in front, look up, inhale. And then exhale, breath, bring that hand down, and then tuck your back toes under, straighten your leg out, inhale. Exhale, breath, step on back into downward facing dog. Big breath in here. Exhale it out. Left leg goes up for a three-leg dog here now. Inhale. Exhale, breath, come to plank, forehead to knee, squeeze your abs. Inhale, breath, left leg up. Exhale, breath, plank position, forehead to knee. Inhale, breath, take that leg up. Exhale, breath, swing your foot through, step right between the hands, and then push off your back foot, feet together, and forward fold. Inhale, breath, half lift, gaze forwards. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive, inhale all the way up. Exhale, draw the hands to heart center, relax your shoulders, pull the chin back. Inhale, breath, up we go. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, breath, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot steps back to lunge. Now from here, come on up into a crescent lunge. So arms reach up over your head, shoulders are relaxed, front knee bent. Pull that right hip around so it's level with the left. And then inhale, look up. Good, now exhale, breath, leaning forwards here. Sweep those arms to the back, interlace, and then lift the arms up, opening up your chest and shoulders. Good, release, come back up, inhale, crescent lunge. And then exhale, leaning forward, strong core, sweep those arms to the back. And if you can, interlace, stretch those arms up and back. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back into downward facing dog. One long breath here, inhale. Exhale it out. Shift to plank, inhale, breath. Exhale, lower midway down, hover. Inhale, breath, upward facing dog. Exhale, breath, push on back into downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up for three-leg dog. Exhale, come to plank, bring your knee under. Now drop your right hip and then stretch your right leg out there in front. Stretch your left arm straight ahead that way. Good, put your hand back down. Turn, three-leg dog again, inhale. Exhale, breath, come into plank, bring the knee underneath. Drop your right hip, stretch that leg out. If you want, stretch this arm up and turn your body more. Look at the ceiling, inhale. And then exhale, breath, come back down. Reach that right leg up, inhale, breath. Exhale, breath, swing your foot through, step right between the hands. Push off your back foot, feet come together, and then forward fold. Reverse swan dive, inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that one more time. Just nice cleansing breath, inhale up. Exhale, slowly draw the hands to heart center. Relax your shoulders down. Relax your face. Don't be tense in your facial muscles. Here we go. Inhale, breath up to the top. Exhale, breath, swan dive. So nice flat back, forward fold. Come on down. Inhale, breath, half lift. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, breath, step your left foot back to lunge, and then from there, come on up into crescent lunge. Arms are up, bend the front knee, back leg is straight. And when I say pull that hip around, it's just even with the other hip, right? So we go up, inhale. And then on the exhale breath, real strong in your core because we're leaning forwards here. And you're gonna sweep the arms to the back, interlace the opposite way that you did on the other leg, and then stretch those arms up. Big stretch here for chest and shoulders. Breathe. Slowly release, come back up. Inhale, crescent lunge. And then exhale breath, leaning forwards here. Sweep your arms back, interlace the opposite way, stretch those arms up and away. Inhale, breath. Exhale it out. Good, now inhale, breath up, crescent lunge. And then exhale, breath, hands down to the mat. Step on back into downward facing dog. One breath here, inhale. And then exhale it out. So I'm gonna just move my mat a tiny little bit so I don't crash into the wall. So left leg goes up for three-leg dog. Inhale, breath, here we go. On the exhale breath, you come into plank, you bend that knee underneath, pull those abs up, and then drop your left hip down, stretch that left leg out in front. So go ahead and set it down, and then reach the right arm straight out there. Inhale. Exhale breath, lower the hand down. Turn and then back up you go, three-leg dog. Inhale. And then exhale, breath, plank again, bring the knee under, drop that left hip, stretch that leg out, reach the right arm if you can, inhale, and then maybe rotate, turn the body so you can look up at the ceiling there. Inhale, breath. Good, now turn and face the mat. One more three-leg dog. Up you go. Inhale. Exhale, breath. Set your foot down between the hands there for a lunge. And then a big push off your back foot. Feet come together, top of the mat, and forward fold. Reverse swan dive. Inhale, breath up. Exhale, breath. Hands come right to heart center. Inhale, breath up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Now from here, let's walk or jump back into plank, top of a push-up. So you can do bent knee version on this. We're gonna go into one arm side plank, or you can keep your legs straight. So bring your right hand to the center of the mat, swivel onto the inner and outer edges of your feet there. Stretch your left arm up, inhale, look. Exhale, breath, thread the arm underneath, scoop and twist, touch beyond the mat if you can. And then go back up, inhale, look. Exhale, scoop and twist, underneath you go. And then inhale, breath up. Exhale, drop the arm over your ear. So you can be down on your knee with all of that, or both legs straight. Now, see if you can lift that top leg up and balance. Inhale, reach. Good, now lower the legs slowly down. Turn and face the mat. Drop your elbows down and push back into a dolphin stretch. So it looks a lot like down dog. You're just resting on your forearms. One long breath here, inhale. And then exhale it out. Good, now lift your head up, set your hands back down, straighten the arms out, and let's just come into plank, top of a push-up. So we're gonna do all that on the other side. I'll be turning my back to you. I'm gonna bring my left hand right underneath the chest there in the center of the mat. Swivel the heels over to your left. Keep your hips up. Now you can drop that left knee down to make it easier, or just keep both legs straight. Stretch that right arm up to the ceiling, look up, inhale. On the exhale breath, send the hips up higher as you thread the arm under, scoop and twist, touch beyond the mat there. And again, inhale, breath, right arm goes up. Exhale, breath, thread the arm underneath, scoop and twist, and breathe. So you should feel your oblique muscles really working hard here. Good, now inhale, breath, stretch that right arm up. Exhale, drop the arm over your ear. You can stay right there, or a little balance challenge, float your right leg up and hold it. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Good, now slowly lower that foot down, turn and face the mat. Drop your forearms down, come into a dolphin stretch right here. Good, now drop your knees down to the mat, uncurl your toes, push your hips back into an extended child's pose stretch. Good, now slide your hands all the way back to the knees and then onto those upper thighs, and then roll your shoulders around to the back. And inhale, breath, float those arms up over your head. Exhale, draw your hands right through to heart center. Do that once more. Inhale, breath, all the way up we go. Exhale, hands pull through to heart center, so shoulders are relaxing down, face is relaxing, the chin is coming back, you're broadening the collarbone. Awesome posture here. This time we're gonna inhale, breath up to the top. And then exhale, place your hands out here in front. Drop your forearms down. Bring your hands together, you can clasp like that. And so what we're gonna do, we're not gonna do headstand, but kind of maybe a prep for a headstand. So you're gonna place the top of your forehead, so right where the hairline meets your skin, your forehead, you're gonna place that there, and then you're gonna kind of lift the hips up higher and roll onto the crown of your head. So come on down and then tuck your toes under. As you straighten the legs, come onto the crown of your head. So it's kind of like your hands are clasped right around the back of your head. Now walk your feet in. So you want to get to where it feels as if your hips are almost right over your shoulders. So you want your arms to be holding you up. Don't just like completely sink into the crown of your head, letting all that pressure be on the neck. You kind of push down a little bit. I don't know if you can sort of see that or visualize that, but let's take a right leg up to the ceiling. Inhale, breath. And then exhale, breath. Lower that leg slowly down. So you're kind of on the balls of your feet here. The heels are lifted up. Let's go left leg up, inhale. And then exhale, breath, lower down. One more time, right leg. Are you pushing down with your arms? You're not crunching into that head, are you? Inhale, right leg goes up. Exhale, breath, lower down. You just want to feel strong. And last time, inhale, left leg goes up. And then exhale, breath, slowly lower that leg down. Good, now bend the knees, drop your knees down, uncurl your toes, push back, and then walk your hands out, drop your head to the mat and breathe. Okay, now come up into tabletop, but the arms are still going to be kind of out wide and up towards the top of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, stack that right hand on top of the left like that, and then sink into the right shoulder. Look underneath the left. Kind of swing your hips over to the left edge of the mat as you drop your right shoulder down. Breathe. Okay, come on up and then walk the hands over to the right corner. Stack left hand on top. Inhale. And on the exhale, dive your head through. Drop into the left shoulder. Kind of swing your hips over to the right edge of the mat as you rotate that torso, looking underneath your right arm. Good, now come back up, inhale, breath. And then exhale, breath, push all the way back, drop your head down, flip your palms upwards, bend your elbows, reach the fingertips down the neck and beyond, kind of walk down your spine, and then kind of dig your elbows down into the floor for a tricep lat stretch. Release the hands out, palms flip over, come up into tabletop, and then I want you to bring your right knee kind of to the center of the mat, extend the left leg back, and then as you bend it, tuck it in behind the right knee, and then split your legs apart just like that, like a wishbone, and then inhale, breath. On an exhale breath, push your hips back, not all the way, maybe just like a third of the way, and then shift forwards again. Inhale, breath. Exhale, breath, push your hips about halfway back. Hold it right there. So you should be feeling great stretches in both glutes, but especially the one of the leg that's up on top. Come forwards, inhale. And then walk those feet out a little more if you can, and then exhale, sit all the way back if you can onto that left hip, and just allow your upper body to sort of collapse and drape over your right thigh. Let your head hang heavy. Shifting forwards, come on up, and then walk your hands back out. Stretch your left leg back, stretch your right leg back, and we're just going to recross the other way. So bring your left knee into the center of the mat, right under the hip, and then tuck that right leg in behind, split the legs apart like that, so your feet are kind of off the edges. Now inhale, breath. On an exhale breath, push your hips back maybe just a third of the way. Good. Shift forwards again, inhale breath. And then exhale breath, maybe you go halfway back now or 2/3 of the way. Again, you should be feeling the better stretch in the left glutes. That's the leg that's up on top. Shift forwards, inhale breath. Walk your feet out some more. Now exhale, if you can, come all the way down onto that right hip, and then just allow your chest to drape over your thigh. Good, and then shift forwards. Come on up. Stretch your right leg back, tuck the toes under, and then stretch the left leg back, and then push your sit bones up into downward facing dog stretch. And just walk it out here. You're shifting the weight from one leg into the other, really trying to reach the heel towards the back of the mat. Big time stretch for your Achilles tendons, your calf muscles. Good, and then both legs straight, kind of walk your hands in a little bit closer until your heels can touch, and then just stay right there for a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Good, and then walk your hands even farther back to the feet, coming into a deep forward fold here. Grab behind if you can and stretch. Good, and then release. And then bend the knees just a little bit to lift the head and chest up. You're gazing at the end of the mat, and then the hands come right here on those quadriceps. Lift up a little more, inhale. Exhale, tuck the tailbone down, pull the belly in, so wonderful stretch here across the low back. And then inhale, head up, shoulders back. Exhale, round, chin down. Inhale, head up, shoulders back. Exhale, round, chin down, and then from there, straighten your legs all the way, and then come all the way up to the top. Inhale, reach. And then exhale, floating those hands gently down. Shoulders up, back, and down. So grab your foam roller real quick, and let's just do that low back stretch. So you're going to put the foam roller literally in the small of your back. So we're doing it standing up, because if you do it when you're down on the floor, on your back, it's just a little bit too much pressure, especially if you don't have a lot of fat or muscle around the spine, around the vertebral column. So walk the feet out a little bit and just kind of adjust that roller accordingly. And then you're just going to do little like baby micro squats here, where you're rolling across those muscles. So if you feel like you're right on bone, just kind of turn a little bit so you kind of get right on that. It's almost like you've got two PVC pipes on either side of your spinal column. In a very muscular, like bodybuilder, somebody that's very well developed muscularly, you can see those. They're very prominent, and their spine is like tucked in between them. But apart from that, sometimes people's spinal columns are just pushing out, and you can just see all those vertebrae. So that's why we don't want to be doing this on the floor. So it really just kind of, it's case by case. And then we can come over to the other side and kind of get the right side of that low back going across those muscles. So think about it. These muscles are holding you up all day long. They are contracting in a very mild to moderate way just to hold you erect. And they get fatigued, and if you're sitting improperly as far as your alignment, your ergonomics, these muscles suffer. They work extra hard to try to get it right, and then you've got low back pain. So this is a very helpful thing to do sometimes when you've got back pain. All right, and then just one more time right here, sinking down, and then I'm just going to kind of rotate from side to side there, rolling across laterally. Feels good. But I'm pushing with my feet back into the wall so the roller doesn't fall, for one, but also more pressure on those muscles. All right, and then walk your feet in, and then you can just drop that, and then big inhale breath, stretch your arms up over the head here, grab your left wrist, exhale, side bend to your right. Imagine that you are wedged in between two plates of glass, like a really narrow little hallway. Somehow you got stuck in there, and this is the stretch that you can do. And then we go back up to the top, inhale, exhale, grab that wrist, reaching to the right, perfectly side bending to your left. And then inhale, breath up. Exhale, breath lower down. And you are all done. Yay! Good job, everybody that showed up today. Hope you feel stretched out. I'm nice and warm and toasty and kind of a little glow sweat going on. Not like a super intense cardio sort of sweat, but nonetheless, it feels good. Just remember, anytime you generate heat in your body from whatever kind of movement, that's a good thing. That means your metabolism is getting boosted up, and it will sometimes have a long-term effect throughout the rest of the day when you do these little moments of activity. We did a long moment of activity here, but I'm just talking about throughout the day. If you, for 3 minutes, do something and you get sort of hot and warm and sweaty, that's going to have an afterburn effect, meaning that you're going to be burning calories at a faster rate from that point on. Just depends. It could be an hour, it could be a couple hours. Just depends on how long that workout was and how, hot you got. But any sort of heat is good. Not just sitting out in the sun heat, but like heat that's generated from within from muscular activity. All right? So tomorrow is upper body strength training.